What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Move Better channel. I'm your host, Dr. Joe, and this is the Professor,
What's up?
John Penisarada. Can you touch your toes? That's a question that we ask all of our patients to do. Can you touch your toes? And what we're looking for when we are trying to touch our toes, when we're assessing that. Let's get it going.
All right.
One of the things that we're assessing when we're seeing what we call multi-segmental flexion, or simply put, can you reach down, can you touch the ground? And it's a little bit more, we're looking at a little bit more details than you reaching down and touching your toes, because we want to see how your body presents its weight shifts as you reach down and touch your toes. And so what I was just telling John recently, just before this, was we're going to say, hey, reach down and try to touch your toes. But one of the things that I see a lot of is people just reach down, touch their toes without any type of posterior weight shift. They just reach down and they start putting all of this tension along their lower back. Now, what I'm specifically looking for is I'm seeing if they have proper movement of their spine. Is their spine straight, or is it flat, or is it rounded? How are they utilizing that? And a lot of the time, not every time, people don't use their hips, their legs, to help them with a toe touch.
Yep.
And when I'm saying a toe touch, it's not necessarily bending your knees, keeping your legs straight and seeing a posterior weight shift. Now, most of the time people will look at it like, oh my gosh, my hamstrings are so tight. That's the reason why I can't reach down and touch the floor.
Yep.
But when we do this, we'll sometimes go ahead and have a seat on the floor. One of the things that you guys can do at home, turn and face this way, John, is you can have a seat on the floor and then you can reach and touch your toes, and then all of a sudden you can reach and touch your toes. That means it's not a hamstring issue. It's a control issue. It's a control or a pattern movement problem that we have. So if you notice that you can't touch your toes while reaching from above down below when you're standing up, and then all of a sudden you sit down and you can reach and you touch your toes, it's not a hamstring problem. It's not a hamstring flexibility issue. Go ahead and stand on up, John. Here's a little trick that you can start working on in order to change your way of reaching down and touching your toes. The vestibular system, the proprioception, and ways that you can work on just allowing your body to work in a pattern. So simply, I'm going to put it here, John, so we can get both cameras. You're going to put your right forefoot on that. There you go. And then you're going to put your left heel on this while you put your forefoot down. So you're going to do a staggered stance here. And simply, this is just going to kind of change the way you reach down and touch the floor. This is going to force a hip hinge. This is going to force some rounding of the lower back. As you go down, reach down, touch your toes, and then stand right back up again. Now, some people can't do this, and that's totally fine. Even if you can't touch your toes in this position, it's totally cool. Just work on the pattern. And we're just going to try to create a better motor control as he's reaching down and touching his toes and coming back up and standing up. This was taught to me by Dr. Gray Cook, Functional Movement Systems. And we were just trying to see if a person can touch their toes and if they can make a change. We're going to do about 15 reps of those. After you do about 15 reps, you're going to switch it from side to side. Go to the other side here, reach down, try to touch your toes, and then come right back up again. Down, touch your toes, and come back up. Again, he's going to do 15 on this side. He's going to see if there's any change with how flexible he is, how much movement he gets, and go ahead and relax. He's going to step away from that. And again, he's going to reach down and he's going to try to touch his toes. And so now what we see is we see a posterior weight shift. We see a little bit more spinal control. He doesn't have to lock up so much and brace his stomach. He could just reach down, change his patterns by simply changing the environment and telling his body that it's okay to move in that direction.
It's good.
If you can't touch your toes and all of a sudden you can touch your toes, it's not a hamstring problem. It's a control issue. If you like what we did here, like, subscribe, share, comment below, share with your friends and family. If they can't touch their toes, make it a holiday game. See if you guys can do it. See if this makes a change. And the first one that can touch their toes
gets to eat first.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you guys on the next episode.